MrInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich.
Not on. Okay, I think we've got audio. Let me double check this really quick. Yep, we're coming in loud and clear. If you think it's too soft, let me try to increase the gain a little bit. Properties, okay. Filters, okay. Yeah, let's just increase the gain a little bit here, and we should be good to go. Testing. Increasing. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too quiet. Testing. Hello. Okay, I think we're good. Hello, Nora. Hello, Gills. Nora, I will get back to you. I saw your message. Just been a bit busy. So I don't have a camera today because I'm not actually home. But luckily, I've got the new laptop. I've got the new microphone, the turbo portable setup. I could set up my camera. Honestly, I could set up my camera is just a smartphone. And it looks great. But I just it's not the best location. So, but hopefully you guys can hear me really well and everything else looks good. I spent like 20 minutes trying to figure out a good headline and thumbnail. So hopefully you guys like it. It took a while, you know, but luckily I was doing it while getting a foot massage. So anyway, look at this breakout. Let's just actually it hasn't broken. So here's something really interesting. Look at the S&P. So we haven't actually had a breakout on RSI. We are flirting with levels here. So if you see this, so this was my 1.68 level off of this W bottom. We had this W bottom, and then this is like the 1.68 level off that W bottom. And we're flirting with this level. This is a big level, and it's also a weekly open level. So that's a big thing, and I think it's interesting that RSI is not broken out. However, if we go and look at like other names, look at ES. So on ES, we have broken out. This was a major breakout. And I wish I looked at this before because this would have made me a lot more bullish than I was last week. Last week I was like, cool your jets, hesitate. After being turbo bullish from the bottom down here, I hesitated. And I said to be careful, take some profits, that kind of stuff. But I wish I'd looked at this chart because this is a big breakout and very interesting to see. And that's why I want to go through a couple charts and look at them. Like what does RSI say on SPY? So if you look at, you know, SPY, for example, SPY also was a major breakout right here. Interesting to see. And if we go to like NQ, check the E-mini, same thing, major breakout. So these are big breakouts here. And if we go to these lower time frames, so let's go back to SPX 500 because that's where I have all my drawings. Although I hate that this doesn't line up. This probably fooled a lot of people. If we go to a bit of a lower time frame, you can see it even on a 4-hour. Oh, it doesn't line up, right? But if you went to like a 1-hour, you can see it's a clear breakout there. I don't know if you guys can make out that MACD. Yeah, but this is big. This is big what happened here. And part of the reason that makes me now lean bullish is because we had this. Right here. We had this and we had this. These are two liquidation wicks. This one liquidated all the way back to April 30th before heading higher. This one liquidated basically the last 3 days of price action before then heading higher. All bullish signs. Maybe we took a look at ES again just to see is there something different here versus others, but it looks the same. I mean I think a lot of people got sidelined with this tariff crash, And now they're all waiting for like this gap fill, for example. They want this gap fill, and watch it never come. That could happen. And then they're gonna end up chasing up here. Somewhere up here. That's a real possibility at this point. We will go to lower time frames, but I just wanted to take this higher time frame look and really see where we can go. Obviously, you've got so for anyone that's super bullish, you've got the 200-day moving average right here, 5,760. And then above that, you've got 78.6 and 88.6 from the previous range. Traditionally, 78.6, 88.6 are our shorting zones. So this was, let me be clear. Where's I always lose it, this part. This was the easy part. Basically all here. This was the easy part. If you got long here, it was kind of easy to hold at least until here. But once we got here, this is where it got tricky. And it's not going to get any better here, and it's not going to get any better here. There's a lot of stuff that this could reject off of. So many levels. It doesn't get easy till we clear here, and watch that happen very fast. And you're not going to get that big of a move. You're going to get up to 4.618. So this is where people are going to FOMO in long, and this is where they're going to distribute. At least that's the most likely area. And how much would you even gain from that? You get 7.6%. That's it. Versus, let's say you missed. This is most of the move, right? All the way up to here. That's 17% versus here. Right up here, sorry. Probably above the highs. People are going to want to chase it. You get 7%. Miss out on 20% of the move. So just something to keep in mind. And if you're sidelined here, then this is the show for you, because I also took some profits, and now I'm questioning that profit taking. I mean, it's always great to take profits. Highly recommend it. However, then you got to decide, when are you going to get back in with those profits? What are you going to do with them? And that's why we like to look at lower time frame charts to see what could potentially happen here. So 1 hour. I can't. Higher time frames, it does look good, but I don't like the fact that you've got divergences across the board on a lot of stuff on these lower time frames. And that's kind of what they've been doing all the way up here. Like, this is a divergence, then we broke out higher. Now we've got another divergence forming here. It's not making me feel great. That's why I call this difficult trading. This is difficult now. And I wonder, part of me wonders, is this a stop run before rolling over? But then on a daily chart, we look really bullish. RSI is super bullish. MACD is super bullish. If we look at M2 money supply, it's shooting up at this time, and most of the time the market seems to sort of track that. So we have a lot of things in the bull camp, but then on the lower time frames, I'm seeing divs all over, divergences all over the place. Now, when the market is extremely bullish, you can get divergences and they don't matter. Like, the rules cease to apply. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't look at them as if the rules are applying. Like, you need to look at it. Let's I always like to look at options expiration. Let's look what's happening going into expiry tomorrow. You got 55.50 is kind of your put wall, and calls is 5,700. So that's your range. It's a pretty big range. And we're at the top of the range right now. Right at the top. Interesting thing is, yet again, we have tons of puts down here. Insane amount of puts versus a very minuscule amount of calls. What's our put to call ratio? Look at that. 2.8. Put to call ratio, 2.8. So you've got almost 2.8 the number of puts versus calls. I mean, this alone should tell you the market would rally. Like, so many people shorting it and expecting or worrying about a pullback. That's nuts, that number of puts. What is it next week? Let's look at next week's expiry. I think it's the 16th, right? Check. 16th is the weekly expiry next week. Oh, look at all those puts. Wow. 2.5, the number of puts again. And the only real resistance you have is at 57. Is this the monthly expiration? This is the monthly. Look at all those puts. So likely you won't go below 5,600 going into next week. I mean, no guarantee, but if market makers, the ones writing these, want to make a lot of money, they don't let the market go below 55.50. So that would be basically right here into next week. And they also, at the same time, they don't want it going over 57.50. And that's essentially right here at the 200-day moving average. What a surprise. So then your range, you could say, going into next week is kind of this. That's your range. You've got a 3.5% range. And I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of stick in that until at least the monthly expiries are over. But it's really not that many calls, especially if you compare it to the number of puts. It's not that many. It could just push through. When I see something this imbalanced, oftentimes we just push to the upside. So I would not fade this move. I would be careful with any kind of shorts. Yeah, this options point to this being strong. Daily charts look strong. It's just these lower time frames that have some weird divs. Like right here, this is just weird. But maybe that's on purpose. Maybe lower time frame traders are supposed to see this, try to short it, and it just keeps going higher. I've seen it before. Wouldn't be the first time. I don't know if that's helpful to you guys. I'm not really giving you clear direction. I'm giving you kind of two scenarios, which I know personally as a consumer, I hate that. I hate when someone gives me two scenarios because I'm like, well, that's not helpful. I want to know what's going to happen. And my answer is, unfortunately, in this case, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I just know there's a lot of puts compared to calls, so probably they don't want to drop it, but they also might just want to keep it in this range because monthly expiry is next month. We can look at like other names. Maybe like we can look at NQ to see what's happening over there. Yeah, NQ is the same with this like low volume. You see how volume's decreasing? This low volume levitation higher. I always hate these. I think they're one of the hardest to trade. But the daily is just so strong. So I can understand why this stuff is going up. You can see the same divergence here versus the SPX. It's the exact same thing. So something to be cautious about a bit, even though the daily is quite bullish. And you are sitting at the 200-day moving average on this one. You're just right there. Okay, so that's kind of my viewpoint on S&P and NASDAQ. Tesla, we talk about Tesla. A lot of people interested in Tesla. So of course, if the market's rallying, Tesla should probably be rallying. And the Tesla chart looked very similar. And it had its breakthrough, pullback. And now it's definitely looking like it's getting ready to make its next leg up. Right? It was stuck in this range for a while. That's basically your range. And next target would be 333. And then after that, 2.618. And then final target is 4.669 at 540. And you can see just a 1.618. 13. This is 35. And that's 80. 84, which is big. I know for crypto that doesn't seem like that much, but that's big for a stock. Like you can make a lot. Now on the downside, you could pull back. See here, 250. I don't see it going much lower than 250, honestly. But that's what you could expect from Tesla. I would lean on the bull side. Yeah, and just lean on the bull side and kind of use the 4-hour as breakout charts. Interesting though that, so you can see here, right? And then the real breakout was here, which took it up. And now the market's gotten harder, essentially. And you're not seeing this breakout now. It's like it's flirting with it to a degree. Like this is flirting with the breakout. And if it closes up here, maybe you get your 4-hour breakout. And anytime you get these breakouts, you should instantly long, because higher time frames are extremely bullish. I mean, not instantly long, but use your trading plan. But for me, if something breaks out and confirms on a lower time frame what a higher time frame is telling you, normally it's a good trade. That's been my experience. It's normally a good trade if that happens. Oh, I hit the computer with my new computer has a touchscreen, and I touched the bottom. Curious to hear your thoughts on CRV. Do you think we near any TP levels? CRV. Why do I feel like I've heard that before? Yeah, so that's Tesla. Boeing also is doing really well, of course, right? So Trump made the big announcement that he made a deal with England, and they're going to buy a bunch of planes from Boeing in exchange for Boeing like offering and Boeing buying all of the Rolls-Royce engines for the airplanes. So that's kind of the deal, and you can see it's super bullish. Big breakout up here. I actually owned a bunch of Boeing that I just sold, like right here, 185, 186, because I thought it was going to roll over. I just wanted to take profits. I was up a lot, and I bought all the way here at the bottom at like 130. It doesn't hurt to take profits if you're in big profits. Doesn't hurt. Say that 10 times fast. It doesn't hurt to take profits if you are already up in a large amount of profits. Something like that. So that's Boeing. Showed you Tesla. I wanted to talk about some of the crypto mining names. Like they've just been absolutely destroyed. Just completely destroyed, and now they're kind of trying to make a comeback. So imagine if it could, easy double, it can go back up there. So that's one of them. I also have Riot, right? Brian talks about Riot sometimes. See Riot rallying also. And price target for this one's not that high. It's just like $12, which is still a decent upside from here. Okay, so then right here, you can see if you long from here, you get a 50% upside in Riot. Not bad. I thought it would break out more than it has. Still not terrible. You guys can ask questions, by the way. Garrett, yeah, I can look at CRV. Do you think we need any? Let's see, CRV. Craven House Capital? Or are you talking about like CRV USDT? I'm guessing you're talking about the crypto. Yeah, so I can look at that when we get to crypto. I'm just talking about some crypto miners for now. Iron is another one. You can see how that one really fell off a cliff, and then now it's way up. I mean, even just in the past. Just in the past 3 days, is up like 13%. This one could really rip higher. This is a clear breakout. I don't think anybody is interested in these names, but I don't see how the maybe I'm wrong with my interpretation, and I need to do more research, but I don't see how the fundamental story for these miners has really changed. Like, aren't they just mainly miners? Anyway, so first target on this would be somewhere between 760 and 840, and then you go to 9. And then this would be your kind of short zone up here during silly season. You'd want to exit, and then you'd want to start hunting shorts in that area because that's the previous high. Something to keep in mind with iron. I have like 2 more, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. Maybe we just segue. We can segue into crypto and talk about some of that stuff. By the way, you guys like the thumbnail this time? Feedback on the thumbnail. That one was a combined effort of Grok and ChatGPT and me. So all 3 of us combine our powers to come up with that that thumbnail. Hopefully it's seen as decent. I want to look at total 3 rather than Bitcoin. Yeah, look at that spike. Jesus. I hope my mic is working. Let me see. Yeah, it's working. Just nobody's talking. Fine. This is also a breakout right here. It looks like a retest, bullish retest, and a move higher. And it's still within kind of our uptrending zone. So that's cool. Cool to see. Although I think I would make it this high. Yeah. You can see we're still in this kind of uptrend. So you could target up here, 1.2 trillion, which is 50% return on average on any coin in the ecosystem. Of course, obviously, you're not gonna, every single coin's not gonna go up that much. Some might not go up at all, so you have to be careful with what you pick. But this looks decent so far. I can look at Bitcoin. I know everybody's obsessed with like Bitcoin and what Bitcoin is doing. So Bitcoin has that, it exceeded 100,000. This was kind of your breakout here, right? Right, like that. And this was the long opportunity. You would have had to go long here at around 84. That was kind of the long signal. Now, I'm not so sure how, like where Bitcoin goes from here. On the daily, I feel like we're already putting in some divergence. Price is pushing higher. Oh, maybe we probably go higher. One hour looks pretty strong on Bitcoin. Amazing how fast things can change in crypto. Like, I mean, just a couple weeks ago, everybody thought Bitcoin was going to like 60K, and now it's here at 100K. That probably means that more traders were bearish than bullish. That's never a good thing for a long-term whatever. Long-term, what was I trying to think? What was I trying to say? I forget. Okay, so that's kind of Bitcoin. You can count this range as like a W that was broken. I think that can kind of be counted. So something like this. And then final count is 132 on Bitcoin. So that's what we've been talking about. I mean, you can even extend that to 139. If we look at M2, money supply, just Bitcoin kind of following it to a T. Yeah, see how it lines up nicely. I don't know why I can't get it to move well. And I questioned this time frame because this was underneath for a while, and markets didn't do the same thing. Let me try to change it a bit. Oops, that's not it. Oh, I know why, because I'm not on a daily chart. Daily chart. Yeah, definitely some front running happening. I'd like to see a pullback to kind of match this uptrend. Yeah, I don't see, looking at M2, I don't see us getting a pullback. I think we just rally up to 140K. That was your pullback, and they're not going to give you any more chances to get in. I'll be really shocked if they do. I don't see it. You would need a significant sell-off today. Like something has to happen. Somebody would have to bomb someone. The market is just too strong right now. That's Bitcoin. And that's kind of my targets again, right? There you go. And Garrett asked about CRV. Curious to hear your thoughts on CRV. Do you think we are near any TP levels? Thanks. Okay, let's see. Are we near any TP levels? Depends. Everyone has different TP levels. Oh, yeah, we are. So I drew this a while ago, and this was my conservative 4.618, 4.669 level, and it looks like we're at that target zone. So we did hit that. I would have to go lower time frame a bit. Yeah, so this was basically your W. And if he's 16, let me see here. Yeah, so if you're at 0.71, are there any major divergences? I think it's a good spot to take profit for sure. Like, could it go higher? Yes, but you're at clearly a major profit-taking area, and maximum amount of resistance. So yeah, it's really up to you if you want to take profits. It could go higher, but this also could be semi the top. I mean, we can look at like something that might help clear this up would be looking at like the others index that encompasses most of these coins. And delete this. You can see this was the breakout initially, pull back to retest the breakout, and now push higher. And this whole time was just like, yeah. Yeah, so you see this retest. Now my concern is that we're going to put in some kind of divergence rather than keep pushing up. But as of right now, I mean, this looks super strong. You don't fade this. You don't get in front of this. Yeah, the Thomas Mark 7, 8, and 9s didn't work. So that's a reminder to like don't trust every single little thing that you learn. And you have to keep learning, keep adjusting. And eventually you should find something that works really well for you. And that leads me into talking about the school. So I think most of the people watching probably already took the school, but if you haven't, registration's open until May 12th. Maybe we'll do it a little bit longer, but it's open till then, and you should see the big banner. Let me see, the Russian investor. Show you guys. Yeah, so there you go. There's the big banner to join the school. You just click enroll now, and it'll take you to the school checkout page. Very easy. I can do it on mobile and stuff like that. And if you ever want to know more about it, you can always answer or submit a support ticket, or you can go to here and click school, and a lot of it is explained here. Okay, hopefully that's helpful. So you can see how it keeps pushing higher. Anyway, hopefully, really quick, regarding the school, again, registration open 5 days, so a little bit longer. And if you have anyone you want to refer, make sure to sign up for the one thing I forgot to mention, referral link. You can go down here. It's listed here, affiliates, and you can sign up as an affiliate, and then you can get some money back. Yeah. So just wanted to mention that. Okay, back to markets. So you can see how others pushing higher with eventual target, basically the old all-time highs for alts up here, 465. Maybe we exceed it by a little bit, but that is the long-term target. And I wanted to show you. Damn it! Just slipped my brain. Oh, BTCD. So we're talking about others and alts, and people are always wondering, like, when is it alt season? When is it alt season? Well, I think we're just about at alt season because we're very close, less than 1 percentage point from the high of my uptrending channel. And we've just been going up nonstop. So I'd like to see, I'd like to see it break down from this trend line. And then once that happens, yeah, alts should really take off. That's what I'm seeing. And I think this is yesterday or the day before was a great time to load up, or were the better times, but today is also a day where you could buy a bit. Maybe wait a little bit for a pullback. Just understand that you may not get that pullback. It might not happen. So something to keep in mind. But this BTCD is definitely going down. It's going down. It's going to go down. Wouldn't be a bad idea to maybe buy some puts on that. Okay, so that's BTCD. I talked about others. Do I have any coins? Do you guys have any coins you want me to look at? Already did a couple stocks. Kind of talked about what I thought might be happening. It's Netflix, by the way. I was looking at Netflix. Yeah, I looked at... Brian, did you just join? I looked at... Why does everybody like CRV? So I just looked at it. Interesting on Netflix. This daily is definitely rolling over. But this can stay embedded up here. Like, this can stay embedded, and things can just keep moving up and up and up. But it definitely looks like 4-hour and daily are rolling over for Netflix, while Netflix is quite strong on the international stage. But this is definitely looking like a bit of a... This is what I'm concerned with, and what I'm seeing in a lot of places is this divergence that has a high chance of potentially breaking down, and just like rug pulling everyone. Like, imagine if this all is all rejected and just rug pulled. It's a possibility. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that we are not in like a safe trading area. Honestly, this others thing looks a lot better than the rest of the market. But if we start retracing today, this is not safe, and then this can head lower. It's only if it keeps pushing up, then it's fine. Oh. Okay, I'm about 15 minutes back, trying to catch up on 2x speed. Yeah, so I did look at CRV. Do you guys want me to look at anything else? Is there anything you're interested in? Any coins or any stocks? I'm certainly happy to look at them. Let me check my portfolio. This name App, I remember, popped up for me. App Lovin Corporation. Yeah, huge jump. The question is, will it retrace? And if it retraces, you could take a position and make a decent amount of money from that. What else? HIMS. So HIMS has been on a tear. Now HIMS is at a really interesting level. So not only did it come into a TD7 on the 4-hour, we also have on the daily, you had a 9. Right? And then on top of that, if we draw from here to here, we tagged 61.8. Tagged 61.8 and rejected. We could still come up to 78.6 and 88.6. That's a real possibility. But like, okay, so let's do a quick scenario. So if, let's say you're bullish, your target is to just breach the all-time high. So you get 47%, right? And let's say you're bearish instead, and you short from 0.618, and your stop is below the 0.886. So you've got a 30% stop, but then your downside that you could target. Downside is 62, so you get like a 2-to-1 risk reward, while the other way, if we flip back, right? 2.49. I mean, I don't even know where you would set your stop here. It's very difficult to. You'd have to set it really close, and then you could get a really high risk reward ratio. But it's a tricky spot to go long, especially with the TD on the 4-hour and also on the daily. I would be careful here, as it does look like it's kind of rolling over. But it is maintaining this 9 EMA, So as long as that's maintained on the 1 hour, it is bullish. But if it breaks below that, I mean, look out below. You're gonna have some problems. I don't know how many of you guys actually trade stocks or are interested in this, but you know, this is some of the stuff I have and thought I could talk about. Okay, so OZ Trades asked for SUI. Mr. Rosie asked about DMT. All right, so I'm gonna do these 3, and then I think we're gonna call it a night because yeah, I need to sleep. Very tired. What is this? Dream Machine. Dream Machine token. Yeah, Sui might be. I mean, that's what I'm seeing across the board with a lot of stuff. It's weird. It's tough trading environment. What would be a target? I don't know. I mean, I see why you picked this, but first stop is 32, and that's a 3x. My problem is this has just been going down, so obviously not a lot of people want it. While some of the stuff in crypto is hitting significant levels, and this just isn't. I'm not confident about that one. Sui. Yeah, so Sui, if it can retrace, this is gonna look really bad. I mean, think about it. If you were a market maker, by the way, check this out. ADD. ADD much? So this was the original levels, and then we adjusted it. Yeah, so then they set your target as 4.618 at 4. Set the target as 4.34, which, let me see something, might even be not be low enough. So far, it's in an uptrend. Like I would be very careful trying to short this, but hopefully at the same time, well, I think I'm giving you guys. I'm very tired, so I think might call it here after the next name, because maybe I'm not giving my best charting. 1 hour, you can see how 1 hour RSI is kind of embedded. You don't want that to happen. It's never a good sign. Okay, Kevin asked about Ethereum. So let's look at Ethereum, and then I'm gonna call it. Hopefully the summary comes out decent. If you're listening to this and you didn't want to finish to the end or something, or you want something to easily look back to, you can, in my Julian Trades room, I do post summaries of what I talked about, and you can just read those if you don't feel like watching the video. Of course, that's only for site members. Big move on Ethereum. Significant move. But I'm surprised it only changed. What this is crazy, this bar. Yeah, so I wouldn't try to stand in front of this freight train. It could be a fake out. Could be a, like, it was a buy the rumor and sell the news, but you're selling the news like maybe a couple days after. I'm trying to see what else do I have for you guys, or what can I make sense of. But the market's super confusing right now. I think it's a very difficult market, and I don't think it's a good idea to try to actively trade this. I would wait for it to calm down, things to clear the air, and then you can consider getting back in on the long side. I mean, the longs down here were okay, much better than up here. Up here, I'm not a fan, and this could just instantly retrace. Okay, I think that's it. I'm not gonna be able to stay awake any longer. And if I'm falling asleep, I think I'm not giving you guys the best show. The main point to reiterate is that on higher time frames, daily, everything looks super bullish. However, there's divergences on a lot of lower time frames, which are kind of giving me pause and making me question things. And I would recommend, you know, following your plan, but sizing down, maybe using smaller size until we either get back into the range and there's a clear bottom, or we break out and you can go turbo long. And I am leaning towards what we're going to break out. I just don't, with all those puts, I don't see a big chance of a pullback. I just don't. It seems like max pain is up. But who knows? Maybe there's a war that starts or something like that. But I'm optimistically bullish after this move higher. However, there's potential for these divergences to play out and we get a sharp pullback. Yeah, very, very mixed. Okay, I'm going to call it here, guys. Hopefully the audio came out well. You like the thumbnail, all that stuff. You have a great weekend. Don't just stare at the computer the whole time, as I always like to say. Get out, spend time with family, exercise, so on and so forth. Next week, I will have the camera for sure, and you will be able to see me wave hello and goodbye. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. See you in the Discord, and hope you have a great weekend. All right, bye, everybody.